Fit Family Podcast presents how I can make you fit. Yes, you. You know, if you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of others? I know I've enjoyed many years of good health. And a lot of it's, yes, I'm blessed to not have certain diseases. I haven't, you know, been diagnosed with cancer or something more serious yet. But there are a lot of things I do to lower my risk. I try to eat well. I exercise regularly. So I'm going to offer you the how, the why, the what, and the who of fitness. And I'm going to start with the who because you are the who. I feel like, I'm a scene from The Grinch. It's Whoville. And anyway, I digress. You are the reason I do what I do. I often call my training business my fitness ministry. I don't believe everybody's meant to be in the pulpit. I believe some people are meant to help people financially plan. I have a client who trained with me in Atlanta. She now lives out west, but she helps people budget and plan. And I think helping people be financially responsible is just as important as helping people get healthy and fit. That's her wheelhouse. Health and fitness is my wheelhouse. But folks, if you don't have your health, let me tell you, it's a slippery slope because not many things are going to be important to you. So let's talk about the who. I can tell you about yourself and how I can help you with fitness, but I'm going to have to do it using two things: facts and assumptions. I'm going to start with facts because how long I've been a trainer, my qualifications are going to be facts. But I want you to know I am a trusted source. I've not only just been blessed with good health, but there's a reason since the mid 80s, I've been practically the same weight. Within a few pounds up or down, I've been around 210 pounds. A lot of times when I gained weight, it was to enter a karate contest that had to be 220 or above for my category of fighting. So I would gain up to 221 or 222. And then when I was done with the karate competition, I would lose weight because I had an aerobic video coming up, and videos are forever. Look on YouTube. I mean, I have videos going back probably to the mid 90s. And let me tell you, you can't just say, oh, well, I just celebrated Thanksgiving that week, or I was having a bad week. No, how you look in videos are forever. So I would get down to like 210, sometimes 205 to get really lean and look better in the videos. But ironically, it was so funny. I would see my parents sometimes during those video shoots. And again, I'm over 200 pounds. And my mom would go, son, are you eating? I'm like, Mom, I'm almost the size of the heavyweight champion of the world in boxing. Trust me, I'm eating. I'm over 200 pounds. But I would look emaciated with, my clothes on because I have high cheekbones and my face would sink in. And of course, without my shirt on, I looked great. Had a six pack. All my muscles were ripping and popping. But yeah, it wasn't a healthy look normally. So I also was a trainer in the Olympic Village Health Club. In 1996, there was an Olympic Village Health Club, the first one in history, and it was here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I was a trainer and instructor in that Olympic Village Health Club. And to date, it was the most exciting 2-week period as a trainer that I can remember. And it was one of those things where any athlete could walk in at any time. Now, a lot of the most famous athletes, like, the sprinter who, had the gold shoes, he wasn't coming into the fitness center. But a lot of the athletes did not have the resources of some of the more famous athletes, and they were looking for help, and they were looking for strength training and conditioning outside of their venue. Normally, athletes would just go to their venue. If they ran track, they'd go to the track. If they swam, they would go to the pool. But this was a place where they could unwind. We had QZR laser tag. They had a little area where they could go bowling and just hang out. And it was really a great facility. And it was cool being in the Olympic Village during the Olympics. It was awesome. I also was one of the first step aerobic instructors. I happened to be the sales manager at the Gold's Gym where Connie Williams and Jen Miller came up with step patterns for boxes and steps that they had. And Jen Miller went on to do Step Reebok. They had the finances of Reebok and the genius of Jenny Miller. And it was an awesome experience. I was on Team Reebok. I toured around. I was in all these videos. So a lot of the videos, if you search my name on YouTube, where it looks like Lenny Kravitz with bad skin, that's me. And these videos were incredible. And literally, Jen just picked for the first few videos a lot of her friends. Elisa Levere, Sherry Ledbetter, the Reebok champion at the time in aerobics. And we did the first Reebok videos. I was in on the design of the Reebok step shoe. Again, very exciting. But my point is, I've been in fitness for a hot minute. And you know what I realized? Barring disease, let me repeat that. Barring disease, if you eat well and exercise, your health will improve. And in 30 years of training, I have never had a client prove me wrong on that point. I have had a couple of clients that had some different, unique situations. Like I had one lady that had a thyroid issue, and she was irate. She came into my office one time, she was ticked. And she's like, you see me taking your aerobics classes. You train me 3 times a week. Why am I not getting results? I'm like, whoa. Hang on, sweetheart. When was the last time you had a physical checkup? And it had been over a year, so I encouraged her to get a physical exam from her doctor. And she did, and her thyroid was out of whack. So it took about 30 days to get her thyroid medication sorted out, and her weight went down almost immediately. So exercise and proper and balanced nutrition, again, barring disease, has been my go-to for my entire training career. And if you ever get an opportunity to train with me or a professional trainer, I challenge you to prove to me that that combination doesn't work over time. Again, I have a lot of people. This podcast is being done just a little bit before Thanksgiving. And I have so many people that come to me, especially, after New Year's, and, I'm going to eat better. And I told myself I'm going to exercise this year. And they train for 2 or 3 weeks pretty regular. They eat pretty good and they get modest results. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, I'm good. I lost my 5 pounds. And then they go back to their lifestyle and they regain even more weight than they lost. And I mean, how many times have you maybe picked up a fitness routine or started eating better and then just let it go by the wayside? Again, I was a trainer. I've managed fitness centers. I've been part of national programs. The Biggest Loser was a big program on TV. Well, they sold the local rights. For example, they had the national show, but here in Atlanta, 11 Alive, which is the NBC affiliate, sold the rights to Atlanta's Biggest Loser. And we had the Moms edition. There was a corporate edition, but there were a lot of ways for people to enter that contest in a local setting. And I actually was a sponsor. So that meant that I got to interview about 25 ladies, and I picked a team of, I think it was 6 ladies, and we had one alternate in case one dropped out or got sick. And I trained them over a 10-week period of time. And I went up against a huge fitness chain that was in Atlanta at the time, and they trained 6 people as well. And we went through a weigh-in every week, and this was on local television, and it was great. As a sponsor, I paid a certain amount of money, and I was on TV every week for 10 weeks. And I went up against this other fitness center, and I was a small training studio. And my lady, one of my ladies, lost the biggest percentage of weight. She dropped about 45 pounds in 10 weeks, but because she was a bigger lady, she had to lose a lot of weight to win the contest. And there was a lady that was really close to her, but she wasn't as big and she didn't lose as much weight. So percentage wise, my lady won the contest. So in a lot of my local promotions, I use that Atlanta's Biggest Loser logo, and that fed my fitness centers for a long time when the Biggest Loser was really popular. I also did a thing with CNN. CNN with Dr. Sanjay Gupta had a health contest. So I trained 3 of their correspondents. Matt Sloan was his producer. Ed Lavandera was, and I believe he still is, the Midwest bureau chief in Dallas. And Stacia DeSiskew, who was an executive with CNN corporate headquarters here in Atlanta. And I trained all 3 of them for, again, a certain period of time to try to get them to lose weight. And we had segments that were aired every week. And, like one time we went to a restaurant in the CNN Center, and, I actually ordered like a tuna melt, and I pulled off all the cheese to show them, hey, this is something that a lot of people would think is healthy, but it's not. It has all this cheese. And, Sanjay sort of slid me under the bus. He goes, oh, yeah, everybody ate well at this meeting except for Robert. Look at his plate. he had no idea I was actually ordering that to make a point. But I digress. So you can understand that through my 30-year career, through corporate presentations, school presentations, and through hundreds of product videos and TV appearances. For example, Talk Back Live, which was a CNN show in the atrium of the CNN Center. The venue changed. How I communicated to people changed. But let me tell you, whether it was my biggest speaking engagement, which was opening for President Clinton and Sanjay at the Turner Center on worldwide CNN, or a local school or Rotary appearance, my message has never changed. If you exercise and eat a sensible and balanced diet, your health will improve, barring disease. So again, I challenge you to prove me wrong on that. I'm also going to make an assumption that you are healthy enough to train and that you don't have a physical limitation or a medical condition that keeps you from training. I have some people that are so physically broken, it's hard for me to train them. And I've actually, over the years, rejected certain clients. I remember when I was in an area of Atlanta called Buckhead, and there was a guy that he was a very high risk person. He was well over 300 pounds. He had already had a heart incident. And I suggested he go to Piedmont Hospital. They had a wellness center there, and they had trainers there, but they had the facilities in case there was an emergency, he could be taken care of. I did not take him on as a client because he was too high risk. And there are trainers. There's a certification called the American College of Sports Medicine, ACSM, and they train high risk clients, older clients, clients with certain medications, but they are trained to make sure they keep certain limitations in place. Also, physical therapy, right? When you're injured, a doctor will often, or a physician's assistant will often refer you to a physical therapist. I actually went through physical therapy when I broke my arm, and I can tell you, these people are just a gift from God. For my experience, they're very patient. They're extremely knowledgeable on how the body works, but they push people, who have had hip surgery, knee surgery, broken arms, like in my case. And although I loved my physical therapy, as a matter of fact, I go in, and I know because I was working my arm, they had a hand cycle. And I'm on the hand cycle warming up, and I'm like, hey, what's the record on this thing? And I'm, going 90-0. A lady's laying on the bench. She's getting her knee worked on, and she goes, can I schedule my appointments when he's not here? So I was that client at the physical therapy office. And I loved my physical therapist. He was extremely knowledgeable. And he told me a lot of things that I should have known as a trainer, but as a trainer, you get in these habits of doing exercises a certain way. And he corrected me one time because I broke my arm. I was trying to rehab by doing tricep extensions. And I thought, oh, I'll flare my arm out and it'll, accentuate the move. And he goes, Robert, you have one point of insertion on the tendon that, you damaged. So how will flaring your arm out help you work your tricep? And I go, it won't. But I've been telling people that for years, and it was just kind of this urban legend that we used. But we got away with it because by extending the arm, people were working their triceps, and they're usually getting good results, despite the fact that we thought they were getting more results by flaring their arm out with a exercise rope or something. So even though I was misinformed, I wasn't actually harming my client, and they were still getting results. But it's funny how we used to do, like, for example, nose breakers, where we'd lay on a bench and we push the bar out. Well, we didn't actually break our noses. They were just called that. Preacher curls were because you look like you were saying a prayer. Donkey calf raises, before there were donkey calf raise machines, we used to hop on someone's back and they would do calf raises while we were on their back, kind of like you would ride a horse or a donkey. And these types of things were things that were done in the gym every day. But you have to understand, I was in the industry 30 years. So think back when gyms were kind of the odd place to go. When I started in fitness, there was European Health Spa and Nautilus. But there wasn't LA Fitness and Bally's and Crunch and all these different chains, Planet Fitness. Now you can throw a rock and hit a fitness chain, and they're $10 a month for 30,000 square foot clubs. Yes, there's that now, but years ago it was odd. You would go to the spa. Some of you may be old enough to remember where you go and you go into the whirlpool, you take a steam or a sauna, you take a long shower, and that was, you go to the spa. You weren't really going to a fitness center. Ladies had jazzercise. I remember when I taught group exercise, ladies would come in for aerobics classes, and we'd say, ladies, get your smart bells. We wouldn't call them dumbbells. We wanted to make it as fun and as user friendly as we could. So going back to the assumptions, I'm going to assume you don't have a disease that's going to kill you, and you don't have an injury that's going to prevent me from training you. Okay? Now, how do you get fit? Well, you need three components: time, resources, and accountability. Let me give you an example. Some people will say, oh, well, I'll work out at the beginning of the year. And you can go to any public gym at the beginning of the year, it's packed. Go in 2 weeks later, it's back to normal. Yes, did they work out? Did they start a program? Yes. Were they eating well? Yes. But they didn't give it enough time. You have to give it enough time to get results. Then when you get results, that's kind of when the program starts. Because as a trainer, once I learn how to get you results, then my job really gets going, because your body will become accustomed to whatever you do. So I have to figure out how to get you results from there, how to move on from that. So it's not just a few weeks. It's not just, one period of time. You need to say, okay, I am going to block off time for my health and fitness, whether it's riding a dirt bike, taking a spin class, going for walks. I'm going to start doing something to make me healthier. I'm going to start making changes with my nutrition. I'm going to stop doing fast food. I'm going to stop doing certain coffee drinks that may be hundreds of calories. It's like having a meal instead of having just a cup of coffee. These are things that you can do over time to give you a change. I'll give you an example. I'm a huge coffee drinker. You'll see me reach for my coffee whenever my throat gets a little dry. So I switched from regular sugar to a sugar substitute. And throughout the day, it probably shaved 350 calories out of my nutrition every day. So that was a way for me to drop weight. Every time I had coffee, I was cutting back on calories. Now there's diminished returns over time. My body will adjust to the fact that I'm not taking as much sugar, and maybe I'll have cravings in other areas. But for the initial period of time, I cut out sugar. I noticed that it was easier to stabilize my weight because I wasn't taking in so many calories that I then in turn had to take out of my nutrition or take off my body by increasing my workout somehow. Resources. You can either train with someone like me in person. I have a training studio. You see its logo in the background. If I were to flip the camera around, you'd see a 1,100 square foot facility with $40,000 worth of equipment in it. I love training people in person. But after the pandemic, I had to become accustomed to training people virtually. And it's still a third of my business. I still train a lot of people virtually, and it opens it up to anybody that's listening to this podcast can train with me virtually. And I love that. And let's face it, you don't have to train with me to get results, but you do need to spend money on resources, which would include instruction. It can be Orange Theory, it can be yoga, it can be Pilates, but you need to have proper instruction so that you don't become a statistic. I'm not a big fan of CrossFit simply because they have such a high injury rate. I don't like any training methodology that injures people. And this methodology just has a lot of people working out at one time with very few instructors. So a lot of people get hurt. I don't like that model. So I would say go to a Planet Fitness or go to an LA Fitness or a Crunch or some of these chains where the machines are designed for you to be on your own. They have placards. Sometimes they'll even have you have a couple of sessions with the trainer to orientate you on the equipment. Now, yes, they are going to try to sell you personal training, but at least they do have that instruction available within their facility. The last thing is accountability. I think this is a huge part of my job. Holding people accountable, it really is the secret sauce. I used to have a facility in a condo where the condos were on top and the retail was on the bottom, and my shop was in the retail space. And I had a gentleman, I could see his condominium from the front door of my studio. And he goes, "Robert, I pay you hundreds of dollars a month to make me walk downstairs." And I said, "Well, sir, how long have you lived in this building?" He said, 8 or 9 years. I go, "In that 8 or 9 years, did you ever go to the fitness center that's located inside your complex?" He goes, "No." I go, "Okay. So yes, you do pay me hundreds of dollars to walk downstairs, but you also pay me for the results that I've been able to prove through your assessments. And you also pay me for the accountability, because before that accountability, you spent several years where you didn't even go to the facility that you already paid for through your condo association fees." So I think that was money well spent. So time, resources, and accountability. The last thing I'm going to cover is why. Why should you train? Whether with me or anyone, any professional trainer. Back when I first started, we always had objections when people would come into the studio. And the objections were in 4 categories: time, location, spouse, and money. Time, location, spouse, money were the 4 main objections. If you could overcome those objections, you usually got the people to move forward with a fitness program. Now, we've talked about time, but let's face it, if you don't take time for fitness, you better make time to be unhealthy. I know people that are extremely unhealthy, and they're always getting sick. They're always missing sessions. They're always injured. "Oh, my back's sore. I don't think I can train this week." Well, yeah, you can train. We can do spine neutral exercises to avoid your back. And, you're not going to make your back better by just avoiding exercise. And after they get their back checked out and realize they haven't pulled their back out or have a bulging disc or something, they're just stressed. Their body is stressed from the workouts and they're sore. And they need to push beyond that soreness to get results. Location. Now with virtual training, location is no longer an excuse. Folks, if you can hear this podcast, you can train with me or a professional trainer in your area. And it can be done virtually through FaceTime, Microsoft Teams, Skype. Yeah, there's so many ways to reach you. And you can use modest equipment. You don't have to go out and buy thousands of dollars worth of equipment. I've had people get as little as $250, $300 worth of equipment, and we're able to get a baseline program started virtually. So location, no longer an issue, no longer an excuse. The next one is spouse or partner. If there is someone in your life and you go to them and go, you know what, I really think I want to get healthier. And whether that be mental health, physical health, starting to walk. And again, it may not be with a professional trainer. You go, I want to start walking. I want to get a bike and we can go mountain biking. If your significant other, unless you just can't afford to do so, barks at that idea, I'm going to strongly suggest you find another significant other because I don't think they have your best interests at heart. And by the way, they can join you. That can be some of the best time you spend together. I love when my wife asks me to walk and we go walking because she does nothing but talk the whole time. She's been wanting to talk to me all day, but maybe she didn't have the opportunity because we have 6 people in our house. Or she works all day and I work all day. And when we get at the end of the day, I'm all talked out and we just don't have the time to do so. I should say we don't make the time to do so. And I put that on me. So walking gives her an opportunity to talk. I love that. Plus, she's getting exercise. I'm going to get my exercise because I'm a professional trainer. Like I said, I have $40,000 worth of equipment outside my office door. I have no excuse. But again, if you have a significant other that doesn't want you to exercise or eat better, it may be time for a change. The last one is money. It always boils down to money. Let's face it. If we could all have a personal chef or a trainer that came to our home and we had a home gym, come on, let's face it. Most of us would exercise and eat better. But not everybody has a gym in their home. Not everybody has a personal chef. I know I don't. Although both of my boys know their way around the kitchen, and it's often a great treat when they cook for everyone in the house because they are awesome in the kitchen. And I'm probably the worst cook in the whole house, but I love it when they cook, and proper nutrition is a given if you're making your own food because it's usually going to be fresh. All the bad ingredients that you know you shouldn't have, you have the choice to take them out. Whereas opposed to fast food, some of the chemicals, some of the things that are in there, you don't have any control. You're just basically eating it for convenience. And that's the only reason. So let's face it, take the time or make time to be ill. Location through virtual training is no longer an issue. Spouse or partner needs to get on board or get to packing. And finally, finances. Come on, folks. I always tell people, you can tell what someone cares about if they put 2 things toward it: time and resources. You don't have to tell me you love your kids. If I see you spending time with your kids and putting your resources towards your kids, I know you love them. Or at least I'm able to see that you love them. I'm sure there are people that love their kids and don't have the finances to put toward every sport they want to play or every interest they have. But let's face it, time and money. You show me where you're spending your time, you show me where you're spending your money, I'll show you where your heart is. So in conclusion, I can give you what I have to a certain point. I mean, like I said, I've been blessed with good health. I had one cancer scare. I had a tooth that had a cyst, and they removed the cyst from the base of the tooth. And this was on a Friday afternoon, and the surgeon, Dr. Baslin, when she took it out, she goes, "I'll let you know Monday if you have oral cancer." I'm like, "Excuse me? What? No, I'm a trainer. I eat bean sprouts." No, yeah, Robert, like I said, we're going to have it tested. So Monday we should have the results to let you know if this cyst that I removed was cancerous. The whole weekend, I'm like, I could have oral cancer. I never smoked. I never chewed tobacco. But yet that was my cancer scare. And the results came back negative, but they could have just as easily come back positive. So I know cancer can creep up like that. I did a segment for CNN one time where I interviewed cancer survivors. And I did a little blog, and the blog, I think, was entitled, "So I Know I Have Cancer," because every person I interviewed did everything I did. They exercised, they ate well, they lived a relatively healthy lifestyle, and they got cancer. So I thought, okay, well, you can do all the right things and you can still get a bad diagnosis from your doctor. But let's lower your risk. Let's not smoke. Let's not eat all those foods with all those preservatives just for the sake of convenience. Let's start cleaning that up. Let's start doing regular exercise. Let's start investing in equipment for our homes so that when we don't have the ability or the time to go outside of our home, we have tubing, we have a ball, we have the baseline equipment where you can have someone like myself or another professional trainer teach you how to stay fit while you're at home, and hopefully share that knowledge with your significant other and your entire family so everyone stays fit. And that way, you can experience what I experience. I'm 63 years old. I wake up, I don't have an ache or a pain. Yes, I'm blessed. But I also work out every day. I also try to eat well. I also try to practice what I preach. And that is what I can give you. If you exercise, if you eat a healthy and a whole food based diet and not, drink a shake. I hate these commercials that come up at the beginning of the year. Oh, have one shake for breakfast and one shake for lunch and then something for dinner. No, don't have two synthetic shakes and then have one decent meal. Have decent meals. Yes, if you need to supplement, like I do take protein bars and protein shakes occasionally when I don't eat something that doesn't have enough protein. If I take in something that does, I don't have the shake or the bar. So folks, you can exercise. You can control your nutrition. You can be involved in improving your health. And yes, you can be more fit. And I can help you become more fit, even though up until now, I don't know you. And what's the old saying? If you don't get help with us, get help somewhere. So maybe you don't like the way I talk. Maybe you're like, you know what? I just can't see myself training with this knucklehead. I need to find somebody else. Find somebody else. There are all sorts of organizations. I'm certified through the American Council on Exercise. You can go on their website and they just type in your zip code. They'll find trainers near you, male, female, old, young. Okay. And they are so knowledgeable and so energetic. And how do I know? I've been going to conferences for years. I still go to conferences and I'm in my 60s. And I love them because the people are so passionate. I'll just share one story real quick. I was at a conference and I'm at the bar. I have my laminate and I'm looking through my materials. And I'm at one of those little side tables you can eat at a bar because it was late when I was checking in. And I saw a lady and she had the same laminate, same materials. And I go, ma'am, do you mind if I join you? And, I sit at her table, I move my stuff over and I go, oh, tell me your fitness story. And she goes, well, my husband unfortunately had cancer. And I learned a lot about health and fitness by helping him with his cancer. Unfortunately, he passed away. But when he passed away, I took the life insurance and I bought a gym. So I actually own a gym, but I'm not certified. And I do have trainers that work at my gym, but I want to be certified. I want to train at my gym. So I'm here to get certified. I'm going through the certification process. And I'm telling you, my eyes welled up. I was so moved by her story. And there are hundreds of stories I could tell you like that. And some people I don't get to even talk to very long. There was one guy that was a chiropractor from New York, and we won a push-up contest in one of the seminars that we went to. And I'm like, Doc, you are the man. And he goes, no, you. And every time we saw each other in the conference, I'm like, you You are the man. He goes, no, 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 you. And of course, it was silly, but we picked each other up every day because, we're taking classes 6 in the morning and we're going to conferences 8 o'clock at night. And you just need that energy. And let's face it, when you meet fitness people, are they normally talking like this? Or are they like me? Energetic. Just, I can't wait till I get to my first client in the morning. I love training people. And even if it's virtually, to find out about their day, to find out, what's going on in their life. Because that's just as much of the fitness process as working out and eating, in my opinion. How the heck are you? How you doing? How can I help you do better? And let me tell you, a lot of times it's the reverse. I'm coming in, maybe I got in trouble at home, maybe, I did something in my business that I shouldn't have done. And, maybe I put marketing down a rabbit hole that I remember I did online marketing and spent thousands of dollars and it just was a bust. I didn't get any business from it. And I'm like, man, I'm such a bad business owner. And I just, I was kind of down. The first client that came in started talking about his daughters that play soccer and how well they're doing and how he upgraded them on a team because he was frustrated with the current team he was on, and now they're on a harder team, but they're working harder and I just got so caught up in his story. I felt so good for him and his girls that I totally forgot about what I was bummed about, and I was totally wrapped up in that whole training session. And I left that training session feeling 1,000 times better than I did going in. I'm like, wait a second, I'm the instructor. Really? Not on that session, I wasn't. So, folks, that's the key. It gives you life. It doesn't just, it's not buns of steel. It's not six-pack abs anymore. Fitness is practical. Okay. I always tell my clients there's a functional side to training where your muscles work and your body works. And then there's another side of training where it's not just functionality, but it's energy. It's not only adding more life, it's not only adding more years to your life, it's adding more life to your years. I love the fact that I wake up and I pop out of bed like a piece of toast. I can't wait to get to my clients. I love my job. How many Americans, when they wake up, are going to a job that they love and clients that they can't wait to help or can't wait to have dialogue with that day and can't wait to beat them down into just the ground? Well, I train them professionally, but I love beating people down in a professional manner and knowing that their body's going to respond and knowing what I'm doing is safe for them, but it's also going to be effective. And they trust me. They trust me not to hurt them. They trust me to give them results. They trust me to give them wise counsel when they ask me questions. And when I don't know, they trust me to go look it up. I can't tell you how many times I use my Google Assistant here or pull out a chart or a book and look up something. I do it all the time, and I've been doing this for 30 years. So, folks, if you have not made fitness a commitment in your life, I am begging you right now to do so. And don't wait for New Year's. It's not even Thanksgiving. Do it now. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas, you can obtain the results that you probably would want in the new year. Losing weight, having more energy, taking control of exercise, eating better. You can do all those things before the New Year's. Don't make it a New Year's resolution. Do it now. And if you need help, I would be honored to help you. But if not, find someone like me near you through American College on Exercise, American College of Sports Medicine. Just type in National Fitness Certifications and then the people near you. That is how you get it done. I'm going to continue with this series with part 2, and we're going to go into exercises that go all the way back to your childhood. Monkey bars, jump rope, things that we did for fun. Remember when it was a punishment to stay inside? You want to be out with your friends, just riding bikes for hours, playing pickup games of football, pickup games of baseball. We had a park near us. We'd go to the park and we'd start a softball game, or we would go to the pool. There was a resource near us and we'd go into the pool, and it was like maybe a dollar to go to the pool for the whole day. You got a little thing around your wrist and you go to the pool all day. This was fun when I was a kid. Now you got to be part of a swim team. Now you have to be part of the tennis team. No, fitness is fun. So, in the next podcast in this series, I'm going to do a 3-part series. This is part 1. I'm going to talk about some of the fun things you can do to exercise and hopefully entice you to make that commitment towards your health and fitness. And I hope this was a good start. I hope time, location, spouse, or partner, and money don't prevent you from doing what I'm begging you to do, which is make fitness a part of your life and add some life to your years and not just years to your life. Okay? So I'll see you in part 2. Until then, baby, come on. Let's get it going.